Gentleman from Texas is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the chairwoman for her leadership and the rest of the appropriators and the staff for working very hard to get this emergency bill on the floor. This bill is important. I live on the border. I don't just go visit the border. And I've been to the CBP processing facilities. I've been to the nonprofit shelters for the immigrant children. I speak with the brave and compassionate men and women that are responsible for managing this humanitarian crisis. These men and women are my neighbors. And my neighbors, we have your back. They have expressed to me the urgency of getting this funding to enable them to protect the life and the safety of the migrants in their custody. But also, we must also keep in mind the communities that are also providing the food and the housing and the assistance that they need. Communities like Laredo, like McAllen, Texas, like San Antonio, and so many other communities across the southwest border. So we must pass this bill to provide that funding. But there's two particular provisions that I do want to mention also. One is the humanitarian reimbursements for communities, and the other is the one-stop processing centers that I had requested and has been added on this particular bill itself. Let me talk about the humanitarian care. You have cities, you have counties, you have churches, you have nonprofits that have really stepped up for many years. In fact, they started this work in 2014 when the first wave of children started coming up here. And this bill includes $60 million for the direct reimbursements for local communities and nonprofits in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. This funding will now use the different models. One, we set up a new pot of money to make sure that we get that funding. The second thing is this model provides the direct funding where the local communities can now ask for this requested monies. We had a different model back in 2014, and unfortunately you had governors like my own state of Texas that got over $100 million and only provided $400,000 in the last 5 years. So this new funding will get the money directly to them. In fact, this funding will now be distributed to the Emergency Food and Shelter Program National Board, and they're required to distribute that money within 30 days after this board gets its money. So we have to provide that assistance to them because, again, they have to be reimbursed for food, water, medicine, medical supplies, temporary housing, and transportation. So that assistance has to be provided to the local entities. The second provision is this one-stop center. $200 million to make sure that this multi-agency integrated migration process, we get this. 30 seconds. We have to provide this because, again, the Border Patrol agencies cannot handle this, and therefore we need this particular processing center. Again, it's a good bill. Why should we wait for the Senate? Because we are the House of Representatives, and we have a right to pass our own bill and not wait for the Senate. And for those reasons, I say let's support this bill. And with that time, Madam Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.